kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Well, welcome everybody in once again to Sim Racing Media. Tonight we are back with the Racers Elite Truck Series. They made the trip up to Joliet here to Chicagoland Speedway. These guys are set for 101 laps of fun and excitement under the lights. Let's take a look and see over the last week's race result. Andrew Teft was able to lead 15 laps, bringing home the W and the most, and tied for the most points of the races. He got the 5 bonus points for leading the lap, but Austin John Smith there led the most laps with 54, came up just short, finishing P2. Alex Teft up for 3rd. So that's kind of the way it went last week at Vegas. Andrew Teft still leads the standings. Austin John Smith in 2nd. Only 14 points separate those two drivers. Joshua Neal and Alex Teft are 40 points apart, or 40 points back there as well. So we'll see what this race holds for us as they get ready to jump over into the race session. Get this qualifying started. This league has grown leaps and bounds every week here. The 9 Chevy of John Schoenbachler out on track first. Thanks, Stephanie Miller, for tuning in. See if we can get Jesse some time on the screen here. Like John's going to be one of the first guys to complete a lap. Oh, and as I said, Daniel Honeycutt finishes his in that 72.4. Got a 30.92 top of the board for the moment. Schoenbacher with a 30.91. David Davis out there with a 30.47. Mike Burnett, though, top of the board once again in that 39 with a 30.90. Joshua Neal, 30.98. Chicagoland is a 1.5 mile tri-oval, but it doesn't have that customary straightaway down the backstretch as you're kind of accustomed to seeing as we jump over to Dennis Kane here. It's got a little curve to that backstretch. It pretty much allows these guys to be full throttle the whole way around the track. Mike Burnett with a 30.85. Kirby Wainscott up there with a 30.81, but John Schollenbachler up there with a 30.80. Still have a few guys left to go. Jake Van Wazer with a 30.95. Looks like Jesse Fox is out on track. We'll get him a little screen time as his family is watching here. First lap of 31.12. A pretty tight board so far. Van Wazer jumps up a couple spots with a 30.86, good enough for fourth. Jesse Fox rolling through. Second lap was a 30.88, so good enough for eighth place. Kinsley Smith in that 15 Chevy. He's up there with a 30.85 for his second lap. Corey Crowell with a 31.03 on his first lap. Let's see what he can do second time. Not doing pretty good, Josh. Looks like you're gonna sit this. Oh no, you're P9 right now. Hope we have some good racing out there tonight, Josh. Get these trucks rolling. Roll with a 30.92. Michael Smith in that 45 Chevy. Rolling through first lap of 31.03. Alex Teff with a 31.24. Like we have a couple other fast cars out here. With the 23 of Austin John Smith. He's been a contender almost every time we take the track. We'll see what he can do here on his first lap as he ducks down. Tries to use as much of that apron as he can to get as much time off of the clock. He goes up with a 30.84. We'll see if he can go any faster the second time by. Almost everybody who has qualified has went a little bit faster on that second lap. We'll see if he's able to do that as well. That went a little bit faster, not good enough for pole, but a 31 or a 30.81. The Alex Teff finished his second lap with a 31.02. Andrew Teft in the 98 Ford. Gonna see what he can do with the Soda Sense machine here. Chris B in the chat cheering for the 39 and the 83. I mean, the top 11 drivers are separated by basically a 1/10 of a second, so should be pretty close here. Andrew Teff goes just a little bit faster than brother Alex on his first lap, a 30.96. We'll see if he can roll through here and get a little bit more speed there. Like I said, these guys keep growing every week. Remember when we first started this series, it was 6 or 7 guys, and now they're up to 17, 18, almost week in and week out, race in and race out. Andrew Teft up there with a 30.85, so yeah, our top 12 now by a 1/10 of a second. That's everybody in here has made a qualifying run. It looks like Jared Murphy just didn't quite get the run he wanted. But no matter. He'll just start at the tail end of the field, but we'll see what these guys can do here. Let's bring up the race info while we're waiting for the session to jump over. I said it is round number 6 here. They have the Winston Cup Points Series. So you get 5 points for leading lap, 5 more points for leading the most laps. So basically, walk out of here with 185 points if you win the race and lead the most laps. Kind of goes down from there. So everybody still pretty much has a chance to make it through here. As I said, it is a 1.5 mile. They call it a tri-oval, but that backstretch is a little more curved than you would see normally. 72 degrees ambient air, 74 track temp, and I'm assuming it will continue to fall as we work our way through the evening here. These guys have it set for 50% fuel in those trucks tonight, so I imagine we're going to see at least 3 pit stops as they roll through. See what we can do here. We'll see here. Got about 45 seconds. But let's see. So after Chicagoland here, they'll head to Gateway. And then we're going to have we're going to get dirty, head to Bristol Dirt. And then looks like we'll head to Atlanta, Michigan, and then back for Halloween on Eldora on the dirt. That is going to be an exhibition race, and then wrap it up November 7th at Charlotte. Tomorrow night, they take the Xfinity Series and head to Richmond and back that up with the Chase opening race in the Next Gen Series at Richmond as well. So several races headed on. We're working through week 3 here of the Chase for the Cup or the Xfinity Series, week 1 in the Next Gen Series. But it looks like they are getting ready to grid, so let's see what we can show the grid here. Looks like everybody's pretty much on track. John Schoenbachler up there on the pole. Austin Smith just to his outside. And you go back to Andrew Teft and Kirby Wainscott. Mike Burnett and Kinsley Smith in row 3. Row 4, Jake Van Wazer and Daniel Honeycutt. Row 5, Dennis Kane. I'm going to say fan favorite in the YouTube chat, Jesse Fox. We got Jeremy Carter and Michael Smith in row 6. Row 7 is Joshua Neal and Corey Crowell. Alex Teft and David Davis round out row 8, and starting shotgun on the field is the 83 Chevy of Jared Murphy. We've still got a long ways to go, several laps to get done here as we have 101. You saw how fast the qualifying laps went. Race laps will probably go a little bit faster if they can get hooked up and get this draft rolling. And we'll see what pit strategy comes to work. We've seen these guys make it where they only have to make a couple pit stops, and others where they have to make 3 or 4 depending on the series here. Pace truck pulls off. Schollenbachler with the button, and he is down and away. Austin Smith just to his outside. They get going pretty quickly here. It looks like the 10 of Kirby Wainscott gets a little loose, bounces down, going to stay on that apron, try and stay out of trouble as he fades back through the field. And it looks like the 9 of John Schollenbachler is going to do the same thing, just get out of the way, let these guys race it up front, and take his chances towards the end of the race. Austin Smith out to a pretty good run, using all the apron he can. Andrew Teft up into second, up 2 spots. Kinsley Smith up 3. Jake Van Wazer as well. Mike Burnett hanging out P5. Daniel Honeycutt in 6th. Jesse Fox up 3 spots in 7th. Jeremy Carter up 3 spots in 8th. And that 26 machine, Dennis Kane, staying right where he was. As it looks like just John Schollenbachler and Kirby Wainscott going to the back of the field here. Fastest car on the track that time by was the 98 Ford of Andrew Teft with a 30.75. They are rolling through laps pretty quick here. We'll see if they can get set up. It is a little bit of a multi-groove surface. You'll see some guys running down towards the bottom. Some trucks a little more steady up on that top lane. And you also will see quite a few guys cut that tri-oval down as they make their way through the track here. 5th position, back there in that 39 Chevy, Mike Burnett just ran the fastest lap as well with a 30.61. Tied Jake Van Wazer's fastest lap on the same lap. So that group of 4 cars, when they're in that draft, they're working pretty hard, but they are moving towards the front as Van Wazer made that pass and is now up into P2. Side by side is Burnett and Kinsley Smith. Burnett making the pass. Kinsley Smith trying to cross him over. He goes down to the bottom side. And Burnett barely gets clear there, but is going to hang on for P4. Burnett goes to the high side of Teft. Teft staying down kind of low. We'll see what happens here as they roll through the corner once again. Teft and Burnett still side by side. Kinsley Smith looks like he's going to try and split the middle and backs off just a little bit. Teft stays right on that yellow line, clear down on the apron, going to try and cut that corner as much as he can. But he will lose a spot, and looks like Kinsley Smith is going to try and pass him on the outside as well. Follow Burnett's pattern right here. Wind up into P4. But up front, we got Van Wazer and Smith working pretty hard together as well. Didn't take long to get that 23 Chevy back to the point, and he is starting to, they're starting to pull away the top two. They're about a half second clear of Burnett there. I'm going to go back through the field, see what's going on. Got Daniel Honeycutt and Jesse Fox and Jeremy Carter, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Logging some laps here. Jesse Fox about halfway up the track, as you see Honeycutt get down almost on that yellow line. These guys aren't quite cutting through the apron as much as the leaders are. We'll go through those guys. You see all three of them take a little different path through the corner with 9 laps completed. Jump back here to the next little threesome. Alex Teft, Michael Smith, and Dennis Kane. And as we do that, looks like Jake Van Wazer decided he had enough of letting the 23 machine lead the race. Goes to the inside and doesn't allow Austin down to that apron. Made him have to change his line, but as they're battling up front, Mike Burnett is rolling in. He is now only about a quarter of a second back of the leaders here, trying to pick which guy he wants to follow to the front. Still side by side is Van Wazer and Smith. Neither one really giving an inch here. Like Van Wazer might got a little bit loose and is going to allow the 23 Chevy to start to pull away just a little bit. We'll see if he can grab that car and get back under him. Looks like he does. Didn't lose too much ground there. Mike Burnett is following through, though. Like he might have lost a little bit of ground. Maybe let him, Van Wazer, up in front of him there. Van Wazer made pretty quick work of a few drivers here as he's up 5 spots in P2. Mike Burnett, though, looking to the high side, going to see if he can get a little bit of a run a little higher on the track. Back here, like Kirby Wainscott has rebounded after getting shuffled back after a little bit of an error on that opening lap. Completing 13 laps, he's rolling in P12 with that number 10 Toyota. Joshua Neal kind of hanging out where he was. David Davis up 2 spots. Corey Crawwell down 1. John Schoenbachler on the inside, just kind of rolling around towards the back of the field, trying to get that truck under him. He had a dynamite quick lap, but didn't want to race up front too much, and is now hanging back in the back of the pack here. Jared Murphy's hanging tough with these guys back here, working his way through lap 14. Austin Smith is now out to 3/4 of a second over Jake Van Wazer. Looks like Van Wazer might have had a little hiccup there, as he is now losing time. Burnett also backed up a little bit. Like all these guys are slowly starting to slow down just a little bit here. Basically third through 5th all of a sudden started running about 0.2 slower a second lap than they were running previously. Daniel Honeycutt's down there running a 31.66. To these guys is 31.84. Austin Smith is not slowed down at all. He's running a 31.68, so he's probably made up his mind and has a pit strategy that he thinks is gonna work for these 101 laps. See if he's gonna try and do a 4-stopper, or if he's gonna be able to just make 3 work. Go ahead and jump on board here. Let's go inside the cockpit here of the 23 Chevy of Austin John Smith. Jumped on a few times when he was trying to save fuel, and he is one of the best at it. He's able to save a couple laps is what it seemed like. He would clutch it and almost shut it off and let it roll through the corners, and he was still faster than some of the other drivers on track as he was doing it at just the right time. See what's going on here. Like Dennis Kane is coming down pit lane. Doesn't look like much happened there, but so that is the first one to blink. See how far Austin Smith can go. Jeremy Carter in. Like I said, we'll see what the pit strategy is going to be here as these guys are rolling through these laps. Everybody on pit lane pitted on lap 19. If anybody else is looking to pit, you guys have slowed down quite a bit from where they were running earlier. Sir, yes, the Smiths are related. Michael Smith and Austin John Smith are father-son. And it looks like Jesse Fox is headed to pit lane. Like Andrew Teff's gonna be coming down pit lane momentarily. We'll see how long the 23 stays out. And he will come down this time. Smith, Van Wazer, Burnett, Teft, Honeycutt, Kinsley Smith, Alex Teft, all coming down pit lane. Looks like Michael Smith is as well. John Schoenbachler is not. He's still rolling through here. Should be making a pit stop this time by. Basically, he will have the entrance to pit road all to himself here. Austin John Smith in and out. We'll see if Jeremy Carter is going to be able to catch him here or not. He's about 8 seconds back. It's going pretty quickly here. But it looks like he'll be out and back up to speed before Carter gets going. Well, it looks like it's going to be a 4-stop race regardless of how they shake it out here. Looks like everybody came down on lap 22, and I'm assuming they pushed it almost to as far as they could go. I mean, Schellenbachler did come down on lap 23, but he was towards the back and was saving fuel for quite a bit. Carter is about 2 seconds back of Daniel Honeycutt. Honeycutt is the driver that made the most of that pit stop. He was almost 2 seconds faster Then Andrew Teft and Kinsley Smith coming off of pit lane. So he jumped them and is now sitting in P4 and has Mike Burnett in front of him. Jake Van Wazer and Austin Smith are moving pretty quickly here. Austin Smith is out to almost a second lead over Van Wazer. It looks like Kirby Wainscott called it a night pretty early here. So as these guys get rolling here, we're going to go ahead and step aside. You won't miss anything as we go side by side. Once again, this is the Racers Elite Truck Series on Sim Racing Media. Be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody, to Racers Elite Truck Series. I am Mike Taboni up in the booth, working through lap 33. Should be hitting pits in about 12 laps or so. Austin John Smith started on outside of row one, but took over the lead as John Schollenbachler elected to go to the back of the pack. Jake Van Wazer made pretty quick work of a few drivers, got up 5 spots to P2. Mike Burnett up 2 spots, sitting P3 right now. Daniel Honeycutt is up 4 after a pretty quick pit stop there. Kinsley Smith up 1 spot, running inside the top 5. Andrew Teft down a couple, running P6. Alex Teft and Jeremy Carter battling side by side for a little bit. Looks like Jesse Fox is also back here in 9th. Joshua Neal rounding out that top 10. Roll on back to P11 with Dennis Kane. Dennis Kane is getting... that's Jared Murphy. I was going to say Dennis Kane's getting passed by Jared Murphy there. Michael Smith is back here with David Davis and John Schollenbacher. Corey Crowell just is not having a night right now. And then Jared Murphy and Kirby Wainscott called it a night early. And that is the field as they run right now. But Austin Smith is just putting on a clinic once again. Out front by over a second right now to Van Wazer. Still a lot of race to go as they're getting spread out here. Mike Burnett running that same paint scheme as Jared Murphy. Daniel Honeycutt rolling through. Looks like Austin's starting to close in here on another car. Looks like Corey Carwell is going to get put a lap down pretty quickly here. See what's going on with Van Wazer, Burnett. Like Jeremy Carter's coming in. Dennis Kane, David Davis, all in pit lane. Joshua Neal coming in. Yeah, I figured they were on a team there. Mike Burnett running towards the front here. We'll see if he's going to have anything towards the end of this race. He'll be coming in, I'll say, in the next lap or so, as these guys are making about 22 laps per fuel run. So if they keep doing that, we'll see where the race winds up leading them. If somebody elects to try and maybe do the opposite strategy and pit when there's 20 laps or so left in the race versus going clear to that 22 mark and turning it on once again. So we'll see which way it works out. Kinsley Smith coming down pit lane. In and out. Sounds like Austin's going to be rolling down pit lane momentarily. If the 39, yep, 39's coming down. 72 comes on down. 98 machine. 43. If the 9's going to stay out. He stayed out one more lap last time by. We'll see if he does the same this time. And he will stay out one more lap. Austin Smith on his way out. The 9 car should be pulling pit side momentarily. Austin Smith back out on track. Like David Davis is just behind him, going to roll up there. Van Wazer lost a couple seconds there, as he is now 2 3/4 second back behind Smith. Burnett lost a bunch of time as well. Looks like it took him a lot longer on pit lane. Spent a whole 44 seconds on pit lane versus the 42 of Van Wazer. Down to the inside, going to try and pass Crowell here. Crowell is a lap down, so shouldn't be too much of a fight. He lets the 39 get the line he wants and roll on by. Honeycutt still hanging on for 4th. 9 machine staying down on that bottom line. Gonna allow these guys to race a little high and get by. Looks like the 72 got a little bit loose. Lost a lot of time there as Crowell is now on his back bumper. Kinsley Smith just behind him. Kinsley Smith and Honeycutt are battling for position. Crowell's just between them. Jeremy Carter back a little ways. Andrew Teff back there as well. Austin Smith is just putting on another clinic here. Slide up to the high side, go by Dennis Kane. Kane's going to stay down low and allow Smith to get by. Just out here cruising. Benoit's back there as well. Mike Burnett. Sitting top 3. Daniel Honeycutt about 3/4 of a second back. Kinsley Smith a second and a half. Andrew Teft about 3 seconds back of the top 5. Alex Teft hanging out right behind him. Jeremy Carter, as we're halfway through the race. Getting close to time to think about making a decision here. As Carter is still rolling through inside the top 10. P8, Jesse Fox hanging on to a top 10 right now, just behind Joshua Neal. Dennis Kane getting passed by Van Wazer. Van Wazer has a 4-second gap he has to make up. And he's going to have about 41 laps to do it. We'll see when these guys are elected to pit. Looks like Jesse Fox already did coming down. David Davis as well. As Austin Smith continues to roll through. Jeremy Carter coming down. Did see these guys come down in about 5 laps or so. They've been doing 22 each time. Like I said, it's going to be interesting. Not this pit stop, but the next one, what they elect to do. Because the way these guys are running, you're going to have a decision. Do you pit where you basically run out of fuel at the end of the race? Or do you go till your scheduled pit stop on lap 88, so you know you have enough, but you're only running, you know, a few laps, not near the, running about half the laps that you would on a fuel run. So Smith, Van Wazer, and Burnett all up here. Teammates hooked up here. See if Mike can help Jared get around the track a little bit better, get a little more speed out of there. As Jared and like the 9 of John Schollenbachler are kind of battling on track there. Not for position. Daniel Honeycutt about 2.5 back of Burnett. 2.5 in front of Kinsley Smith, as Kinsley is making his way down pit lane. Daniel Honeycutt in as well. Austin Smith continuing to roll. Jesse Fox just to the outside. Go on by. Fox did make a pit stop on lap 58, and looks like he's the fastest car on track at the moment. Only one that might give him a run for the money is the car just in front of him, Joshua Neal, as he went a 30.89. So I'm going to assume that the 23 is probably going to come in this time by. Right now we have, looks like 5 cars on the lead lap. About 8 that have to come down pit lane within the next couple laps here. Van Wazler stays out. He's going to try and jump Austin Smith while Smith is in the pits. See if that's going to be the right call here. Alex Teff looks like he's going to stay out, as well as Andrew. 19 truck should head to pit lane this time by. So Van Wazler, Teft. And Van Wazler tried to jump him, but it doesn't look like that's going to help anything. Might even hurt him. Well, they spent almost identical times on pit lane. But Van Wazler gets jumped by Honeycutt as Honeycutt undercut him by about 3 laps here. Burnett even was able to jump Van Wazler, as you see him out in front of that 19 Toyota. Burnett was faster on pit lane that last time. He spent a little over 40.5 seconds there. So he's battling back up here. Like he will lose P3 and wind up... Well, maybe not. They're battling tough. Hanging tough on the high side, but Van Wazler's going to take the low line and take that away. But as I was saying, Burnett's pit lap time there, or pit lane time, was almost 2 seconds faster than Van Wazler's and Austin Smith. So he's able to get off a little bit quicker and finds himself in about the right position here. Because as everybody has made their pit stops, we're going to take our second break. And when we come back, we will bring you the conclusion of the Racers Elite Truck Series from Chicagoland. We'll be right back after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are getting set to see what is going to happen at the end of this race. We've got Austin Smith leading the most laps, already clinched that spot, so trying to get the most points he can out of this race. Jake Van Wazer up here in second. Mike Burnett hanging on for third place at the moment. Daniel Honeycutt inside the top 5. Kinsley Smith also inside the top 5. Let me go back to 6th, up 9 spots is Alex Teft. Brother Andrew just behind him, down 3 spots. Joshua Neal in P8. Jeremy Carter is going to come down pit lane, so he will lose his spot here too. Jesse Fox in P9. And Dennis Kane is going to roll through inside that top 10. So we'll see what happens here as Dennis Kane also comes down pit lane. 80 laps to go. This is the time to make up your mind. If you think anybody's going to try and maybe do a little short pitting here. Oh, I was kind of wondering what happened to you there, Kirby. Went around for just over 21 laps and didn't see anything really happen, but you went away, so glad you can tune in here. Tough luck, but at least you got to race a few laps. Austin Smith still leading this thing up 1 spot. Jake Van Wazer in second. Daniel Honeycutt jumping down pit lane, as is Jesse Fox. 20 laps to go. We'll see what's going to happen here. If anybody in the top 3 elects to maybe short pit just a little bit. I know you don't want to leave yourself too short, especially if there's a caution late in the race, but the way these drivers are handling Chicagoland, you got to try and expect that this race is going to go green the rest of the way. I do want to thank everybody for tuning in on YouTube. Love to see you guys out there in the chat. Love interacting with you guys as well. Austin Smith still hanging up in the high line. Drops in behind Joshua Neal. See if he's going to be able to gain a little bit of speed from the draft there. Looks like everybody's going to have to pit except for maybe a couple drivers. Daniel Honeycutt came down on lap 80. Kinsley Smith 81. Joshua Neal 79. Jeremy Carter 78. Jesse Fox 80. They should all be pretty close to what they need to make it to the end as we're working on 18 laps to go. Pretty sure we know that Austin Smith has a number set in his mind. He's pretty much stuck to it the whole race, and if that's the case, he's going to stay out about 4 more laps, then head to pit lane. So we'll see if Jake Van Wazer or Mike Burnett elect to come down a little bit sooner, get those fresh tires on, try and make up a little more speed, a little bit faster. But we'll see what happens here as Jeremy Carter races around the leader. Carter got one of his laps back the hard way. Like Andrew Teft is going to come in momentarily. About 21 seconds back of the leader. So Austin Smith has quite a cushion. He's got almost a little over 9 seconds to Van Wazer and Mike Burnett. They are battling pretty tight here for second place. They're going to see See who can round out the podium here. See if anybody pitting shorter is going to be able to jump up and steal one of the podium spots away from these two drivers. This is the closest battle for position on track at the moment. Burnett down to the inside, gonna try Van Wazzer down there. Like he's gonna get by. They're still gonna be battling pretty tight there, as it looks like Burnett got a little bit loose coming back onto the racing surface. Slides up behind the 19 Toyota, and they head down the backstretch. Ooh. See what happens if Van Wazzer gets an unsafe pit entry. It looks like he was just outside the cone there. Alex Teff stays out. Daniel Honeycutt doesn't have to pit, and he is on the back bumper there of the 43, but he is a lap down at the moment. Austin Smith comes down. Theft coming in. Burnett, Van Wazzer racing off pit lane. Burnett gets off first. Crawwell does pass and get up to third, as does Daniel Honeycutt up to fourth, with Austin Smith and Alex Teft on pit lane. We'll see where they shake out once they roll through here and cycle through. Honeycutt has about 6. It's closing. Inside 5 seconds. Going to be inside 4 momentarily. We'll see if Honeycutt's going to be able to reel in the leader of Austin John Smith. And it doesn't look like he's going to. He is now losing time to the leader, as Smith has got back up to speed and is rolling. Smith now has that gap back out to 3.5 seconds, and it's only getting wider here. Honeycutt tried to pit a little early, tried to do that little short pit, see what he could do. We're inside 10 laps to go as soon as Smith gets back to that start-finish line. So 10 to go. And it looks like Honeycutt lost a lot of speed there, as well as it looks like Burnett down to the inside. Van Wazzer in the middle with Michael Smith stuck on the high side, and they're still battling here. Burnett and Van Wazzer. Van Wazzer up high, gonna try and run the high side. Burnett kind of keeping him out there, running about mid-track. Not quite. Got to the door, side by side. About half out. We're still side by side. Burnett drops clear down to the apron, but Van Wazzer's a little bit faster up on that racing surface. So they are still side by side. 39 and 19, back and forth they go, battling for the top two. They do have Jared Murphy in front of them that they are running faster than. We'll see if Murphy's going to stay as high as he can, and he does, lets them get by. And they are still battling. Burnett clear down on the apron. Van Wazzer staying on that racing surface. Burnett about half clear. Just can't quite clear him completely here. 8 laps to go, and this is a tight battle brewing here. Burnett's starting to pull away. Almost clear, not quite. Elects to pull back down. as to not slide into the 19 machine. They're still battling door to door. 7 laps to go. They've been battling side by side for the last 3 laps or so. See what they can do here. The 19 just gets enough of a run coming off the corner to keep the 39 back. 19 sticks his nose in front. 39 battles back on the low side, but still can't quite clear him. And looks like he will, and Van Wazer's going to try and cross him over, but Burnett stays down on the low line and shuts down that run. But Van Wazer battling back down there as well. He's got about half, getting the nose in front almost, still side by side. 6 to go as Burnett's starting to stay on that high side a little bit more as Van Wazer is sliding up the track, trying to push him just a little bit higher, try and get him out of that comfort zone. They're still side by side. But as this is going on, Austin Smith has checked out. He's got a 6-second gap over these two guys battling back here for a second. Kinsley Smith is closing the gap, but not near fast enough to be there at the end. 5 laps to go. The handshake lap is underway as we got Burnett still hanging on the high side. Van Wazer down low, almost touching there, and it looks like Van Wazer had to check up just a little bit. We'll see if he can gather that truck back under him, slide up behind the 39 of Mike Burnett. We'll see if they can get another run coming towards the end of this race. Burnett's starting to pull away now. Got about a half second. Looks like Van Wazer might have almost thrown in the towels there. 4 laps to go. Austin Smith is loving every second of that battle. 3 laps to go as he rolls through 1 and 2. Austin Smith looking to win race number 3. And it looks like with this victory here, he will propel himself into the points lead as he's going to get maximum points this evening. Final lap. Austin Smith just has to hit his marks as he rolls through here. Down the backstretch one more time. And Austin Smith wins the race. Mike Burnett's going to finish second. Jake Van Wazer in third. Alex Teft is battling Kinsley Smith. See who's going to get there. Alex Teft barely beats Kinsley Smith. Daniel Honeycutt. Andrew Teft. Joshua Neal. Jeremy Carter. And coming home with a top 10 is Jesse Fox. As Austin John Smith burns it down, and then in that Milwaukee machine there. See if we can get to talk to our racers here. Hey Jake, Mike up in the booth. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Well, that's a heck of a race. You had a little bit of a battle there towards the end. How's the racing here at Chicagoland?
I wish it was a bummer. I wish I could have gotten the win tonight, my home state. But it was a good race. Didn't really have anything for Austin, and that was a good race there at the end with Mike, nice and clean, and got her home with the top 3. Can't complain.
Yeah, definitely. You get a few points here. How is the season looking for you as you're sitting P5 right now in points?
Just trying to get as best finish as we can moving forward. Last week was a kind of a killer, sliding through the pits twice, spinning out. So hopefully we can kind of rebound from that. But it's going to be hard here with Austin. He keeps getting these wins.
Yeah, definitely. He has it set up where he's where he just seems to dominate some of these races. But heck of a race for you. Anybody you want to thank before I get you out of here tonight?
Yeah, I just want to thank a couple buddies. Most of the time they tune in, Trevor and Nick, and then also shout out to Andrew for putting this league on, and everybody else that helps out, you for announcing, and thanks guys, appreciate it.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats again on your P3 finish.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yep. All right, let's see if we can get Mike up in the booth. Mike up in the booth. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. How are you?
Well, not too bad. Oh, heck of a race there. Finished up 3 spots from where you qualified. Didn't quite have anything for Austin there, but you and Jake had a pretty good battle there for the top 3 towards the end of the race.
No, yeah, Austin was gone, so I knew I was battling for second place, especially after I messed up some pit stops. The first time I spun my tires coming out of the pit stall, and then the second time I slid through it, so I had to reverse. So I knew my race was pretty much over for the win there, but then we had a good battle, and especially at the end there, got the pass and then held them off, so it was a good race.
Yeah, definitely. You guys put on a show. You get another caution-free race. How was the pit strategy coming in, knowing that you only had 50% fuel? Kind of changed the way you run the race?
It honestly just like set up perfectly for around 20 lap runs. So once you knew you got to 20, you knew you were set, and then you had the tire sets perfectly too. So as long as there weren't cautions that threw a wrench in it, it was going to be pretty easy.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats on your P2 finish. Anybody want to thank before I get you out of here this evening?
Yeah, all my teammates at Backroad Bandit Racing, Jared running with me, and Frazier Dealer Management Software for being on the car.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats again, and I will talk to you next time.
Thank you.
Let's see if we can get Austin up in the booth. Hey, Austin, Mike up in the booth. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty well. How are you?
Not too bad. Well, another race, another victory in dominant fashion. How was the racing out there?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Just got out to clean air early and just kind of set sail after that. Pretty clean race. Didn't really see anybody in front of me very often. Didn't see anybody behind me very often. So pretty quiet.
Yeah, definitely out there. Didn't really have to drive out the windshield or out the rearview mirror, but another pretty dominant performance here. You're probably going to take the points lead if my math is correct with these Winston Cup points. So you move back up to the lead. You got 3 wins on the season. What do you think the rest of the season is going to have in store for you?
Yeah, I hope to just keep kind of going with what I got going on here. Just be clean. See if we can get out in front in each race. It seems like clean air is pretty helpful for me. So Yeah, I think we're at Gateway next week, so definitely a different style of track to think about, but should be a good race.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats again on your P1 finish. Anybody want to thank before I get you out of here?
Yeah, just thanks to my family, Racers Elite, putting the league on. You guys for broadcasting like always. Yeah, I'm hoping that my Milwaukee Brewers will clinch the division tonight. So I'm going to get off and see if I can go catch the end of that.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats again, and I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks.
Yep. All right, let's see if we can run down the end of the race here, the race results. Austin Smith out there showing once again why he's going to be the points leader. Mike Burnett, hard-fought P2 with Jake Van Wazler finishing third. Alex Teft, Kinsley Smith battling pretty tough there to come home fourth and fifth. Daniel Honeycutt tried some pitch strategy, wound up sixth. Andrew Teft seventh. Joshua Neal, Jeremy Carter, Jesse Fox rounds out the top 10. Dennis Kane brings home P11. Corey Carwell in 12th. John Schonbachler started on the pole, elected to drop back, and finishes 13th. David Davis, Michael Smith, Jared Murphy, and Kirby Wainscott round out the field of 17 drivers that took part tonight. Well, if you liked what you saw this evening and want some more, the drivers of the Racers Elite will be moving over to their Xfinity rides tomorrow night and headed to Richmond. So we'll see how that turns out for a little bit of short track racing. But from all of the drivers of the Racers Elite Series and all of us at Sim Racing Media, I want to say thank you and good night, and we'll see you next time.